The crimson sun of Kepler-4 for to be cast long shadows across the alien settlement as Fiza adjusted her environmental suit's helmet. The atmospheric readings flickered across her visor, oxygen levels marginal, radiation slightly elevated, but nothing her augmented physiology couldn't handle. She had been the lead xenobiologist on this expedition for 3 months now, and the warnings from the indigenous Veltharian species had become routine. Stein emerged from the makeshift laboratory, his boots crunching against the rust-colored soil. His tall frame moved with the easy confidence of someone who had survived far worse than an alien planet's harsh conditions. The scar running along his jawline, a souvenir from the Proxima Centauri mining disaster, caught the dying light. The Veltharians are at it again, Fiza said, gesturing toward the delegation of tall, crystalline beings approaching their camp. Their translucent bodies refracted the sunlight into rainbow patterns across the ground. Third warning this week. Stein chuckled, removing his gloves to feel the alien air against his skin. Let me guess, the water. Always the water, Fiza confirmed, pulling up the analysis on her tablet. They keep insisting that their water supply contains compounds fatal to carbon-based life forms, specifically, a silicon-based toxin they call vrethium. The lead Veltharian, Ambassador Quellis, stopped before them. Its voice resonated through the translation device clipped to Fiza's collar, producing a melodious yet urgent tone. Humans, Fiza and Stein, we must implore you once more. The water sources on this planet contain vrethium in concentrations that will destroy your cellular structure. We have witnessed the death of explorers before you. Please, use only your synthesized water. Stein exchanged a glance with Fiza. Their water synthesizers had broken down 2 days ago, and the replacement parts wouldn't arrive for another week. They had been rationing their remaining supplies, but both knew the math didn't work in their favor. Ambassador Fiza began diplomatically. We appreciate your concern. However, our preliminary analysis suggests that while vrethium is indeed present, the concentrations might not be as immediately lethal as you fear. Human physiology has certain ... adaptabilities. Quellis's crystalline form seemed to dim with what Fiza had learned to recognize as distress. You do not understand. The Zephrony expedition, the Mordani traders, will perish within days of consuming our water. Your biology cannot be so different. Stein stepped forward, his weathered face breaking into a slight smile. Ambassador, I once drank coolant fluid on a dare in the asteroid belt. My liver has handled worse than some alien minerals. Fiza shot him a warning look, but Quellis appeared confused. Liver, what is this organ you speak of? It's our body's filtration system, Fiza explained, pulling up a holographic diagram of human anatomy. Humans have evolved on a planet with remarkable biodiversity and varying toxicity levels. Our species developed highly efficient detoxification organs. We've consumed ethanol, a literal poison, recreationally for millennia. Quellis tilted its head, light refracting differently through its form. This is ... unprecedented. Your species deliberately consumes poison. For fun, Stein added with a grin. And that's just the beginning. We've adapted to environments across Earth that would kill most sophisticated life forms. Deserts, Arctic wastelands, high-altitude mountains with thin oxygen. Humanity's superpower isn't strength or speed, it's stubbornness and an absurdly resilient metabolism. Fiza pulled up more data. Look at these readings, Ambassador. Human liver enzymes can break down hundreds of different toxic compounds. Our kidneys can filter out substances that would crystallize in other species' systems. We have redundant detoxification pathways, regenerative capabilities, and an immune system that's essentially in a constant state of controlled warfare against potential threats. The Veltharian delegation conferred among themselves, their forms pulsing with bioluminescent communication that the translators couldn't fully interpret. Finally, Quellis turned back to the humans. The Zephrony had similar confidence. They lasted 3 days. The Zephrony also had copper-based blood chemistry, Fiza countered. Completely different ballgame. May I propose a controlled test? I'll consume a small amount of your water while monitoring my vitals. If there's any sign of distress, we'll immediately administer treatment. Stein crossed his arms. Actually, let me do it. No offense, Fiza, but I've got about 20 years of exposing my liver to questionable substances on you. If anyone's system can handle this, it's mine. Despite the situation's gravity, Fiza smiled. It was so typically Stein, volunteering to be the guinea pig with the same casual attitude he brought to everything from first contact protocols to fixing the coffee maker. Fine, she relented, but we do this properly. Full medical monitoring, controlled dosage, and I'm standing by with the full emergency medical suite. Qualis brought forth a crystalline container filled with clear liquid that seemed to shimmer with an internal light. We cannot stop you, but know that we have prepared the ceremonial rites for your passing. Cheerful bunch, Stein muttered, accepting the container. He raised it like a toast. To human resilience, horrible decisions, and livers that just won't quit. He drank. The next 72 hours were the longest of Fizza's career. She monitored Stain's vitals obsessively, watching for any sign of the cellular breakdown that had killed previous explorers. His liver enzymes spiked initially, which was expected, but then something remarkable happened. His system adapted. The verethium was being metabolized and filtered out, slowly but effectively. By the end of the week, Stein was not only alive but thriving. His body had essentially developed a tolerance to the alien toxin, processing it through pathways that the Veltharian's previous visitors simply didn't possess. Qualis stood before them, its crystalline form pulsing with what Fizza now recognized as amazement. You have achieved the impossible. Your species truly is ... remarkable and perhaps a bit insane. Stein, looking remarkably healthy despite his role as a human filter experiment, laughed. Ambassador, you just described humanity in one sentence. We're the species that looked at the ocean and decided to cross it on wooden planks, that saw mountains and chose to climb them, that found fire and thought, let's cook with that, Fizza added. We're persistence hunters. Ambassador, we survive not by being the strongest or fastest, but by simply refusing to give up. Our bodies reflect that they're designed to take punishment and keep going. As the Veltharian delegation departed, Qualis paused. Perhaps this is why your species will succeed where others have failed, not through superiority, but through sheer stubborn resilience. Stein watched them go, then turned to Fizza with a characteristic grin. You know what? I think I actually feel healthier. Maybe this rethium stuff has minerals we've been missing. Fizza shook her head, but she couldn't suppress her smile. Don't even think about bottling it. The last thing we need is you starting an interstellar energy drink company. Too late, Stein replied, patting his stomach. Already thinking of brand names. Poison Planet Water now with extra lithium. As they walked back to the lab under Kepler-4 for 2B's alien sky, Fizza reflected on the strange truth of human existence. They weren't the smartest species in the galaxy, nor the strongest, but they might just be the most stubbornly and in the vast, dangerous frontier of space, that counted for something, perhaps everything.